and there can only be one winner.
So, as you know, sports has sort of become a bit of a topic of choice for many a streaming service. You had Netflix's Drive to Survive. You've had you've got Welcome to Wrexham on FX, Disney Plus, Hulu, depending where you are. I mean, a couple others Prime Video's had. There's one about what's that? The Athletic. Oh, Diego Simeone. Not as well known. There's been some mixed results. Obviously, Drive to Survive is the most famous example, along with Welcome to Wrexham. And look, while the quality is a bit debatable at times, it's a bit varied. But you can't. What's unequivocal is that the shows have generally been a huge success, not just for like some Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, but also for the particular sports. You look at F1 now; they're pretty much pandering to Drive to Survive at this point by pretty much trying to change every single racetrack to street circuits. But look, I guess Netflix obviously wants to branch out beyond F1. They've tried it with other sports, like particularly soccer. They've had that sort of mixed doco with Juventus. They've had Michael Jordan's one, which I thought was brilliant. And now they're trying their hands on rugby union, in particular the Six Nations.
They've got some of the best players in world rugby.
So the Six Nations Full Contact Netflix doco, or Netflix Spots documentary production, as it's officially called, sort of premiered a couple of weeks ago. It's about months now. I've only sort of really gotten onto it recently because, just for time and purposes, it's, as Captain America says, I will put it on my list. So look, after I was umming as to whether to watch it, I just felt, I've seen lots of rugby documentaries. You know what it is. As a rugby fan, and I'm not so much a fan of how Netflix tries to dramatize things, but, someone I know said it was good. So I thought, give it a go. It's only 8 episodes, about 40-50 minutes. Well, that's including the credits. So you're effectively looking like, 35 to 40 minutes per episode, which you can go at 1.5 times speed on your mobile or iPad, not on your TV though. So all 8 episodes, I finished them in the space of 2 days, and look, I did enjoy it actually. Look, it is clearly, Drive to Survive, but instead of Gunther Steiner, you had Finn Russell, Andrew Porter. I'm mentioning these two because they're the two that get featured the most. The Drive to Survive treatment has clearly been applied, and there's a lot of it's definitely gloss. It's very superficial. Only picks certain stories, which I can totally understand. Rugby. There's so many stories you could tell the Six Nations. But they've just chosen to focus on a few where there is a story to tell. For instance, I think, like with Sebastian Nehri, that's how you pronounce it. He had a really tragic backstory, having to flee Zimbabwe when Robert Mugabe was, clearing out all the European white farmers. That's the fact he's had companies, fortunately he does have his family had Italian roots, so they went to Italy, and he's now arguably one of Italy's key players. Of course, they had that story as well when he he got hit hard, lost consciousness. England prop Ellis Genge, who I will talk a bit more. I had to turn him over and pull out his tongue, pretty much saved his life. And I think that for me, I think his story was pretty compelling. I think, and that I guess that leads me to the other side of the coin, which is the fact that there was. It is mostly an English-speaking competition, the Six Nations. Apart from like France and Italy. There would seem to be a more focus on actually people who can speak English. Right. They did feature Gail Ficou a lot. They had Fabien Galtier, but they were speaking French. And yeah, they kind of had to, because they are they were the reigning Six Nations champions, and the second best team in the world. They had to feature France, but I guess in that regard, that kind of hamstrung them, because where was Roman Ntamack? Where was the halfback? What's his name? I'm sorry, having as a record this, my brain's kind of gone to malfunction mode. Aldri. For instance, it's kind of like, I'd like to, wouldn't mind hearing about those guys. But yeah, look, I guess maybe they were just, I don't know what the backstory there. Maybe, hopefully, apparently there may be a season 2. It hasn't been greenlit by Netflix, but I think given the success it has, it probably will be. And I look to things that they would do a season 2, just to iron out what didn't quite work in season 1. But yeah, only time will tell. We shall have to see. But yeah, I think, I guess, just sort of jumping everywhere, that was kind of my bugbear. And of course, yeah, look, it is Netflix. They have to, I guess you're going from the sport, which is pretty normal, ordinary, and rugby union is pretty much one of those sports where you don't have crazy celebrities doing crazy stuff normally. So I guess they kind of had to drum up the drama, although, I got the feeling from episode 1 that they were trying to imply that Finn Russell is the greatest player the greatest rugby player in history. They got Finn Russell to say he's Lionel Messi, so there. And then they kind of sidelined Stuart Hogg a bit and Jonathan Sexton, even though those guys were retired, and then they tried to make it up by saying, "Oh, this is their big farewell." Kind of a bit rushed, and it's like, yeah, it's just a bit token there. And then look, there's heaps of things. I won't really go into too much depth, but I think it's definitely worth a show. Look, I'm not going to warn as spoilers, because this is about the 2023 Six Nations, so definitely worth a watch. I think one thing that's key, I think, is the filmography and how they've shown the action, and I think it's absolutely top notch. A++. This is the best thing about the show. You're watching the Six Nations action on TV. It feels like you're watching it on a theater film quality. So that I would give it 11 out of 10 for that. So yeah, look, certainly a good watch. What else is straight? Oh yeah, and I was going to brief mention for Ellis Gench, who, of course, he's the England prop. Didn't really know too much about him. Look, he's certainly of the different generation, but I thought his backstory was pretty good as well. And featuring his what his life is like, and then the pitfall of becoming the England captain for a day, and getting during that unfortunate time when England were being thrashed by France, but they had 50 points put on them last season. But look, he seems like a really decent character, and of course, the most important thing, he's a bowler. I think he threw this really good pass that to an England try, which is a bit like Sonny Bill Williams. Finn Russell does that as well, so you'll see a bit of that. So yeah, look, I think it's a good effort for rugby, and look, I think maybe traditional fans might not like it, but I think at the end, rugby needs its casual friends. It needs to attract casual friends, just the way like Drive to Survive did for F1. Because obviously your avid traditional fans, that base is naturally decreasing. People pass on. People, the people who were alive when Colin Meads was playing, that sort of thing, they're slowly passing on. It's just a matter of progression, and you need to replenish that fan base, and this is one of the best ways to do it. And I think, hey, New Zealand Rugby, or SANZAAR, why aren't you going up to Netflix to get them to do a show? Because I think that would be brilliant. I think like a box All Blacks Netflix doco could work really well. Ebenezer Beth could be a really good character. Sai Khaleesi is as charismatic as you can get. In New Zealand, you've got heaps of characters. So if the Six Nations can do it, why can't the All Blacks, South Africa, Australia, and Argentina? Because any publicity is good publicity, and like certainly rugby now, when you're thinking rugby's dying and all that in New Zealand, of all places, is probably the one thing that they need. So So those are my thoughts on Six Nations Full Contact for Season 1. And yeah, look, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the show. Have you watched the whole show or bits of it? What are your thoughts? And look, if you like this video, feel free to like and don't forget to subscribe.